Hello everyone, today we're going to be looking at something that every single outdoorsman, survivalist, bushcrafter and prepper should be very familiar with. I'm talking of course about a larger sized medical kit. Now you're all going to be familiar with what a medical kit should be able to do, so I won't lecture you on that or how to administer first aid. What I'm going to talk to you about is some of the specific items I keep in here, some of the pros of this specific medical kit that I bought, and maybe you can add some additions to yours. So stick around and hopefully you'll learn something in today's video. Hello again. So the specific medical kit I bought is actually the Life Venture Adventurer medical kit, and they make a large series of medical kits, and I trust their gear. The EDC kit, medical kit that I carry is a Life Venture pocket first aid kit, and it hasn't let me down since in its build. I've actually had 2 of those, so I do definitely trust this brand. This specific Adventurer medical kit I've had for nearly a year now, and it's evolved and developed over the years, but I really like the design of the pouch itself. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but the first thing I'm going to talk about is where this medical kit lives when I'm out doing things. So this is my day pack, and some of you might recognise it from some of my other videos, but one key thing that you should always do with a medical kit is keep it either at the top or a front or somewhere where if you open up a pocket it's instantly there. So for me it's in this front pocket just here, so you can see where that is there, and then I can just unzip the top there and medical kit, it's there instantly. So if I have an injury or something that needs treating very fast, which some do, it's there and it's ready for me. So that's just where it's placed. So we're going to go down to the close-up. We're going to have a talk about the pouch and the contents. So here we are at the close-up. I'll just show some of the size of this if you're thinking about buying this particular medical kit, but also about if you're thinking about just putting a larger medical kit in general. So the length here is 5 inches in height. It's about 6 inches in width, and at its thickest point I'd say it's about probably 3.5, 4 inches in depth there. So that just gives you a clue of how big this thing is. Now Adventure First Aid Kit, it's got a lovely grab handle here, not the most comfortable thing if it had any weight in it, but it won't, so it does. The zips here are quality, and also you notice how they're made so they're water resistant. I would however recommend using a bit of Fab-Seal on this. Obviously when it's empty you don't want to contaminate any of your gear. Nice and smooth zips, and also they open from the front. There's 2 of them, which is a nice addition. It always annoys when there's one and you have to go all the way around. Slows you down in an emergency. What you can see here is it kind of folds out like this, and then just at the top here there's a hook, so you can hook it around camp, which I love and I do all the time when I'm out and about. So of course we can see here at the top medication / accessories, bleeding / breaks, and then here there is gloves / info. So what we'll do is we'll go from the bottom to the top. So the first thing we've got here, a little waterproof sort of Ziploc bag here. Now this came with the kit, and it came with some adhesive bandages or plasters or band-aids or whatever you want to call them. The ones I put in here though, I added some stuff. My favourite brand of plasters even is Savlon fabric plasters. They're cheap, and they work really well. What I'd recommend doing with a plaster though is putting one around your index finger here and wearing it for a day and seeing if it works. If it doesn't hold up to the test, it's not a good enough quality plaster. Assorted sizes. Other things I keep in here, blister plasters, out for a hike, invaluable, and whilst running water is ideal, burn shields can be very useful too. So that's just sort of small things in there. I put them at the front here so they're quite easy to access, and then a pair of vinyl examination gloves. Bleeding / breaks, one of the most packed parts of the kit here. So if we have a look here, there's some hand sanitizer. I'm going to replace this, but drop down to Poundland. You can get this, easy done. I find it's more convenient than wet wipes, and it's easier to wash my hands off. And I know if I've been working with food or game or something like that, or just some sort of questionable dead wood, then this stuff is great, and I feel clean after using this as well. This is obviously a specific thing, but I suffer from dry skin and sort of eczema, so a little bit of cream in there. But if adapt this kit. I also keep contact lenses in here, but I recently used them up, so not in here at the moment. Bandages, stretch one and a woven white bandage, really important for larger cuts and grazes. When I say cuts and grazes, I mean more sort of wounds. Just have some larger bandages. So just here, what we have, Something that can be really useful. It's a bit bulky, but I think if I do need to use it, I won't regret the bulk. A triangular bandage, really useful if you've got a sprain or a break in your arm. Just know how to use it as well. I've been on a first aid course, so I know how to use most of this stuff, but again, it's really important that gear is useless without training. So tying a triangular bandage is harder than it sounds, so don't just put stuff in here you don't know how to use. Behind there, I have a few brands of these actually, but I just have two, one larger and one sort of smaller gauze pads. So they're quite good for just putting underneath the bandages, just sort of keep it padded and nice and secure. Otherwise you could cause further damage to the wound. So these are important. And then in the back here, again, larger and smaller. So here are some larger hygienic cleansing wipes, and here are some wound cleansing wipes. Alcohol free, both of them, because I find the alcohol ones can sting quite a bit, which I've used on grazes before and they hurt, but these will do the same job without the sting, so I thought, why not? So that's what's in there. One of the pretty much the biggest section. In the top here, we've got medication / accessories. So that's exactly what it sounds like. In the top here, paracetamol. If I'm out and about and I can't find access to like a plant that I can use for a sort of pain relief, like willow or something like that, this will do just fine. Tablets. Insect wipe, not really the time of year for it, but I thought I'd put it in here for demonstration purposes. If it is the summer, I will have some of these. And then it might seem a little bit silly, but 2 tissues. I find being able to wipe stuff up, so for example if you have a runny nose, sphagnum moss isn't always the nicest thing to use, so having tissues can be really useful. Also loo, just useful stuff. And then in the back here, I keep this in here for overnighters, not so much on day trips, but a little bit of toothpaste. You can put a folding toothbrush in here as well, don't normally. Again, more of an overnighter thing, but earplugs I find help me sleep quite well in the forest. I don't normally need them, they're not normally necessary, but if there's something noisy going on, like, you know, birds can be quite mental in the night, then useful. Saline eye wash, got something trapped in your eye, useful. I've used that a few times, really saves the day, especially when I wear lenses. Antiseptic cream. I've seen people, I mean, you might say I've got the wipes, but I think the cream can be quite useful if you want a wound to heal in the long term. Vaseline also does quite a good job of the antiseptic cream. It's not an antiseptic, but it will help wounds heal faster. Scissors, you need it for cutting stuff. I mean, you could even use this to cut your nails, but bandages are probably the intended use. Here, this actually came with the Life Systems kit. Love it. Little sort of wallet with tweezers in. I love these tweezers. They're metal and they're very precise tweezers. So they're very useful for sort of like ticks and stuff like that. Last item in here, a lighter. If I'm going to be using a tweezer, I want to, you know, sterilise it first, or if I'm cutting stuff with this, I also want to sterilise it. So being able to sterilise is important. I'll probably have a campfire as well, but I wanted this to be a standalone kit. So yeah, if I sort of show you all of the stuff I just took out, it's a lot of stuff. I'm always adding to it and changing it, but that's it as it is. Okay, so that is my medical kit. I take it with me on day trips, I take it with me for overnighters, and I even have a duplicate one that I keep in my school bag and a smaller one in my EDC bag. So first aid is so important, so important. And I'm glad I shared this with you. It's something I wanted to get done for a while because I think it's a really important thing. Again, as I just said, it is always changing. If I find I'm using something more than else, I'll change it and edit it. Some items in here will always be in there. For example, I'll never remove the bandages, I'll never remove the plasters, I'll never remove the antiseptic cream. There are just some things in a first aid kit that you really shouldn't mess around with. Something I would recommend as an addition to this is buy a first aid guide. I have a pocket one that I keep in my EDC bag. My EDC bag's just here. I'll show you it, but training is really important, so if you don't know your stuff, sometimes treating a wound can actually cause more problems than it solves. So this is a guide I got on Amazon. It's Pocket First Aid. It's, you know, by St John Ambulance, St Andrew's Ambulance and British Red Cross, and it's dirt cheap. I got this one for like £2 or something like that. So having a little guide like that can be useful. A lot of survival guides will have first aid guides in them as well. For example, the SAS Pocket Survival Guide has a first aid guide in it as well. Anyway, I'm waffling now, but train to use it. practice using it, even when you don't have an injury. Just think, what would I do now if I had a large cut? How would I treat that by myself? Maybe try a bit of bushcraft without one arm, because I've done that before just to practice. If I was in a survival situation and I had broken my arm on the trip to my bug out location, how would I react? And you know, you'll learn something, you will. So, you know, have a go trying. If you think I've missed something really important, and I have tried not to, if you think I missed something, please let me know in the comments, because I learn a lot from the comments. That's pretty much my video. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Jack Outdoors. I upload one video every week. There's a bushcraft tutorial, a survival tutorial, gear reviews and prepping. And whilst I didn't have one this week, a lot of Wednesdays I'll also have a Gear Wednesday, which is where I'll share a piece of gear that I'm thinking about, I think that you guys will enjoy. So subscribe if that's your kind of thing. Thanks very much for watching again, and I hope to see you in the next one. Jack out. Doors.